Where are we at? We're in the building. That's where we at. And it is coffee, crepes, leadership, and pancakes. I'm pretty sure that we all had our coffee, crepes, and pancakes today. I'm not sure if we all had our leadership. So we're here to hit the leadership portion for you today. Um, we had a group of my brothers that was coming before us, but like always, life happens, and not all of us can make it. But we got enough. It's enough of us here to talk leadership. We're gonna be going over some principles and just talking some things. And with me to do that is my brother from another mother,
Good morning.
Matt. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing wonderful. Had a great week. Very productive down there in the Texas in Colorado with the Colorado heat, as it were.
Oh man, look. I can relate because I was in Chicago for 3 days, and then I came back to Georgia, and it was in the 90s and the hundreds, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It gets you. That travel, it gets you.
Look, it was snowing when I was up in Chicago, man.
We apparently had snow up here while I was down in Texas, but it was all gone by the time I came home, so I'm happy.
That's insane. Oh, we got a viewer. We got Hi Call Me Time, Timo. What's going on with you, man? Hey, if you're showing up, if it's your first time, thanks for coming out and joining the show. If it's not your first time, thanks for coming back, man. We appreciate you. It's been a while. I've been in transition, retirement mode at this point, but we still doing leadership because that's what we do, right, Matt?
That is right. Every day, all day.
Every day, all day. So we had the title is Coffee, Crepes, Leadership, and Pancakes, man. What did you have? Last week you made crepes. I know that the family enjoyed them. So what did you make this week?
And last week I did. We had a whole crate bar and everything, and I thought about doing it this morning, and I didn't get in from my travels until about 2:30 last night, or this morning, I guess. So crepes were off the table.
Okay.
We made cinnamon rolls. We did cinnamon rolls.
Hey,
So,
cinnamon rolls are good too, and I think Joseph's about to join in. Hold on, let me see. Hey, if you're out there in internet world, man, let us know where you're watching from, who you are, what is the deal. Yes, so I can get my other brother in here so we can do this. Yeah, he on his way in, Matt. He's on his way in.
all right,
So
perfect.
look, early this morning, we were out and about. It's first Saturday, so on first Saturday, shout out to the Dream Center. And what we do is, um, on top of doing the food pantry, the clothes closet, we also go out into the community to do the outreach type deals. So we did it's called Dogwood Terrace. It's a community, so a lot of people can't make it out to our facility. And so
Mhm.
we'll take basically what we have, do everything we're doing, and we'll take it out to the community. And we
Nice.
also had a section that was doing neighborhood cleanup. So basically, they were knocking on the doors, and that's Joseph calling me. Hold on, I'm gonna talk to him on live. Hey, what's good, brother? Go to the messenger, Facebook Messenger, and then click on the let me see. Let's see if I pull it up. Oh, and then click on the meetings, the Google Meet link. Look, I think Matt can hear you. Say hey to him.
What's going on?
And we live. We waiting on brother Joe, my broseph.
Always late.
Nah, man, you good, brother? Hey, we was just talking about what we made for the coffee, crepes, leadership, and pancakes. What you make?
You talking about last Saturday?
No, this Saturday. It's every Saturday, man.
Oh, this Saturday I ain't made squat yet.
Well, come on, so we can get your face on the thing, man, so people can see who I'm talking to.
Okay. Uh,
You see it in the group?
yeah, it's logging me in now.
Okay, let me see. It might send me a message up here.
Yeah,
There you go. It's brother Joe. It's brother Joe.
Hey.
Hold on. Now, I'm not getting any back feed, but let me turn you down here so I can see if I can hear you on there. Can you hear him, Matt?
I can't hear anything yet, but I don't think you said anything yet.
Say something, Joe. Nope, I'm hearing you on my phone still.
I went through the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. I don't hear anything now. Do it again. On neither one of them. You might have to go out and then come back in because you had it on both. I heard you tapping something. I hear myself twice.
Yeah, I'm hearing your feedback too.
I heard you say feedback. Go out and then come back in. Cut it all the way off and then go back in the same way you just did. So yeah, look, Matt, we were out there doing our thing, and it was good, man. It was a good turnout. Enjoying this. Where you watching from? Hi, call me Timo.
There he is.
Yeah, y'all.
We hear you loud and clear, brother.
There we go. That's good.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I haven't had my coffee. I didn't have any crepes or pancakes, but I'm running off of leadership. So you know what I'm saying, we got to get it, man. We got a guest in the building more that came in. They popped in, watching from Finland. Okay, you watching from Finland? Hey, you watching from Finland? So did you what do you have some coffee, some crepes, or some pancakes this morning?
Or some leadership tips or questions.
Or some leadership tips or questions. Hey, we appreciate you coming out, man. That's awesome. All right, look, Joseph. So what I'm going to do is we're going over today. We're going to be going over Battling Impossible Odds, Hal Moore's 4 Principles of Leadership. Okay? And then we're going to talk about it. We're going to get some opinions. We're going to chop it up, man. We're going to see what our thoughts are on those things. But I have something I want to ask you, gentlemen. And I see the coffee that you bringing up there, Joseph. You playing games with my emotions right now.
There you go.
Look, we got coffee downstairs, but we got beans. And because we're still in the process of moving, I haven't found my grinder yet.
Oh, man.
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 It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's all right. So, look, check it out. I got a question for you guys. It's something that I heard, and it was hot on the press. And I said, you know what? Let me share this with my brothers and see what y'all think. All right.
Let's hear it.
Somebody sent me a post, and in that post, it said that for promotions, they believe that when you go before that board, at least for E5 and E6, and they're saying even senior ranks, that before they say yes or no, they should have your, you know how you have a sponsor come in?
Yeah.
They said that you should have one of your subordinates come in and sit down, and then those leaders who are interviewing you or looking at you for promotion, they should have a say in whether or not you are ready for promotion. What y'all think about that?
I love it.
I like it in concept. I think we'd have to come up with some really good ground rules as to what we're going to ask those subordinates.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the same input, that leadership's going to have. Leadership goes in there, squad leader or platoon sergeant or first sergeant goes in there with the intent to sell the soldier. Hey, this is my top NCO. He's a go-getter. She's a real go-getter. Whatever it is. Here's what they've done. Blah blah blah. That's their job as leadership, as a sponsor. And then take notes where to screw up. but the junior adds that 360 perspective.
Right.
You know, that what do they actually do on a daily basis? I think we could find some people accidentally going down a rabbit hole on that one in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
But if you angled it with deliberate questions, I think that would be. I would see some absolute value in that for sure.
Right.
Yeah. I've actually seen it done before.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, twice. I think it was when I was in the 21st Cash here at Fort Hood back in the day. I seen that happen, and then court ground rules were established. You know, where the soldier just comes in and talk about their non-commissioned officer, what they do for them, and then of course the most recent time, not during the board proceedings, but after your selection, for Morales, when you get inducted, one of your soldiers comes up and says why you are being inducted, and so that's just an extra touch of class, man. I really like the idea of it.
Yeah. I like the idea of it, and like you, Matt, I like the concept that if it's done right, it could be really good, and it could actually be one of those deterrents for those leaders who are more self-focused to realize that my soldiers got to go in here and speak for me. I might want to at least pretend like I care.
Make it till you make it, baby.
Yeah, hey,
that's
it works, right? I mean,
that's a big takeaway that I've had to bring to a lot of NCOs. You know, the sergeants there at the staff sergeant board, you've got to remind them, hey, I appreciate all the things you're telling me that you did, all the great strides that you've made for you. Work with me here. You're going to be a staff sergeant. It's not about you anymore. We're at that 50-50 mark. You can still do stuff for you, but what are you doing for them? What are you doing for the organization? You know? Yep. What are you doing to make my job easier?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And one of my tough questions I like, especially squad leaders, I like to ask them is, what is your plan to transition mentally specialist such and such into sergeant such and such?
Right.
And if you can't answer that, then I question your ability to lead as a squad leader, because that's one of your principal jobs.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be training the future soldier.
You're supposed to be training your replacement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to go on leave too. Shoot, I don't want you calling me while I'm on leave.
Exactly.
Hey, sorry. No.
Yeah.
No. Unless it's an absolute emergency, please handle business. I trust you. That's why I left you in charge.
That's right. Because I did trust you. You'd be working under somebody else.
They may be junior ranking to you sometimes.
Done it.
Right.
Hate to do it, but I've done it.
Hey, exactly. Hey, Matt, it's a learning experience for them, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Humbling experience.
It's a very humbling experience. Very, very humbling experience. So that was my hot topic, my hot take that I wanted to get y'all's opinion on. So
good way to get started.
Battling Impossible Odds, Hal Moore's 4 Principles of Leadership. All right, this is by Stephen Matthew Leonard. It's an article. If you guys get a chance to go out and read the whole thing, I'm going to gloss over this so that those that are listening, you'll know what we're talking about. Okay, a leader is paid to do 3 things. Get the job done and get it done well. Plan ahead, be proactive, not reactive, and exercise good sound judgment in doing all of the above. From Lieutenant General Harold Moore. The sun was high that day. The heat was stifling. The terrain unfamiliar. Hey, look, if I mess up some of these words, y'all just chop it up. So I've been up really early in the sun out here in Georgia heat. So I'm going back.
No judgment.
No judgment.
The Georgia heat.
The baby. Georgia heat. Hey, that thing, it's been hot. Look, coming from Chicago, it's been really, really hot. I mean, I thought I was a Southern Georgia boy, a born-again Texan type character. But this heat is legit. I got to really reacclimate myself. So, anyways, back to it. The heat was stifling. The terrain unfamiliar. As the lead elements of the battalion crossed over the dry creek bed, their eyes instinctively searched for the presence of enemy forces. Unseen but nonetheless present, they could sense them. And with an enemy notorious for their use of unconventional tactics, everyone was on edge. Unknown to them at the time, the battalion was cresting a historical inflection point. The men were moments from engaging in a battle that would come to define their country's role in the war. They also faced imminent disaster, outnumbered 10-1 by opponent intent on killing as many of them as possible. The balance between success and failure was a delicate one. Leadership would tip that balance. Street without joy. Just 2 months earlier, 1st Battalion 7th Cavalry disembarked from the coastal enclave of Quai Nuhan and began their journey up Colonial Route 19 to the village of Anquay, where the U.S. 1st Cavalry Division would establish Camp Radcliffe, their base of operations. Flying over the scrub jungle in UH-1 helicopters, Lieutenant Colonel Harold G. Hal Moore recognized the significance of the terrain below as the march route for the French Mobile Group 100 during Operation Eglantine. The movement of the regiment task force out of the isolated defensive positions in Anquay in the wake of Dien Phu. Like the Americans a decade later, Mobile Group 100 was cresting a historical inflection point. On June 24, 1954, as the column reached the road marker kilometer 15 on Colonial Route 19, the Viet Minh 803rd Regiment ambushed them. Over the course of 5 days of intense fighting, the French lost 500 dead and another 600 wounded, while 800 more were captured. Mobile Group 100 lost 85% of their vehicles, all of their artillery, and half of their heavy weapons. The Battle of Mang Yang Pass and the defeat of the French forces on Colonial Route 19 effectively brought an end to First Indochina War. It was, as journalist Bernard Fall would later write, a street without joy. Hell in a very small place. Moore had extensively studied the French experience in Vietnam. As he would later write, death is the price you pay for underestimating this tenacious enemy. When he led his battalion into the La Drang Valley on November 14th, my wife's birthday, shout out to the Jewel Junkie, 1965, her birthday is not in 1965. Hal Moore had no intention of underestimating his opponent or in repeating the French experience. I had to put that out there because she would kill me. They'd be like, dang, how old is your wife? Like, she's young. She's young. A young 1965er. She's not from 1965. Okay. Unknown to Moore, the North Vietnamese 9th Battalion 66th Regiment occupied a position less than 500 meters southwest of his landing zone. The 7th Battalion held a red ridgeline above the landing zone. The 8th Battalion in a position just across the La Drang River in the northeast, and elements of the 33rd Regiment directly overlooking the landing zone from positions along the Chu Pong Massif into the east. When the Vietnamese forces descended in mass on landing zone X-ray, Moore was outgunned, outmanned, and it would appear out of options. But they didn't know how Moore. When the dust settled on the first decisive battle between Americans and North Vietnamese forces, Moore's battalion was battered but not beaten. The firepower required to defeat the two regiments was not insignificant. With the battlefield shrouded in smoke and dust, 4 observers were forced to walk in supporting fires, moving the torrent of artillery, aerial rockets, Air Force, and helicopter gunship fire progressively closer to X-ray. But it was Moore's leadership that turned the tide of battle in favor of the Americans. Even in the face of seemingly unsurmountable odds, he stood his ground and set an example of battlefield leadership that influenced generations to follow. Moore's principles, what we're here to talk about. Nearly 30 years later, Moore and journalist Joe Galloway captured the events of that day in the La Drang Valley in their books, We Were Soldiers Once and Young, an instant classic. It quickly became a staple of professional reading lists across the military. Go out and read it if you get a chance to. In the years that followed, both men shared the lessons they learned that day and in the many days that came later. In his 2017 book, Hal Moore on Leadership, published just months after his death, the old soldier described his 4 principles of leadership, each of which was undoubtedly shaped by his experience on landing zone X-ray. Here we go. 1. 3 strikes and you're not out. War is a battle of wills, and the battle isn't over until you stop fighting. Life kind of works the same way. I'm going to go over all 3 of them, and then we'll talk about it. 2. There's always one more thing you can do to influence any situation in your favor, and after that, there's one more thing. I like that. Never give up, never surrender, and never stop fighting. There's always options. Absolutely. 3. When nothing is wrong, there's nothing wrong, except that there's nothing wrong. When something seems too good to be true, it's because it's too good to be true. Absolutely.
That's
yes.
a fact.
Yes. I say that again. When nothing is wrong, there's nothing wrong, except that there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And number 4, trust your instincts. You've worked hard, trained hard, and studied hard. When all else fails, trust your gut. It's ready. Your subconscious knows and sees more than you can, especially in the heat of battle. Trust it. All right, gentlemen. 3 strikes and you're not out. What do we got?
One of my favorite quotes on this one from actually Helen Keller, who, believe it or not, was an amazing motivational speaker after everything that happened in her life.
Mm-hmm.
A bend in the road is not the road unless you fail to make the turn.
Mm. Say that again.
You're going to get twists and turns and changes, and every one of us on here and everybody listening, and everybody could be listening that has anything to do with the Army, someplace and done something that they didn't want to do. In fact, some of our careers are defined by the doubt of things that we didn't want to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Places we didn't want to go, right? It's not the end unless you give up.
You leave the road. You keep straight. Don't do it. Follow it. What you got, Joe?
I'm reminded of the thought of a man or woman shouldn't be defined by their mistakes, but by how they respond to their mistakes.
Yeah.
And so life isn't a sport. And baseball, 3 strikes out.
Right.
But
Right.
life doesn't necessarily go that way. And if all you're living life and you only got 3 times to make a mistake, you're gonna die very early.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. There's always one more thing you can do to influence any situation in your favor, and after that, there's one more thing. Never give up, never surrender, never stop fighting. There's always an option. This one is good, man. This is I think with we're coming out of Mental Health Awareness Month, and you think about, I'm sure that we've all been touched by someone that's fighting, still fighting, lost the fight to mental health, and being in the military, all of us in the medical field, and we came in during that time frame where it was, you suck it up and drive on, and you don't let them see you sweat and all that crazy stuff, and now battling that stigma of go get help.
Yeah.
This one is good because he's in the heart of that time frame where you don't let them see you sweat and you take a knee and then get back up to rub some dirt on it, and he's saying, never give up, never surrender, never stop fighting. There's always an option. That don't mean that you don't seek help. I think one of the things that we have to point out in this never give up, never surrender is that is part of, seeking help is part of that never give up. Right?
Right. I think that's one of the top principles of seeking, of never surrendering.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're outmatched by yourself, but with good company, you can take on anything.
Right. What you say, Matt?
Well, honestly, never give up, never surrender. I am never going to be able to break away from Tim Allen in Galaxy Quest. Never give up, never surrender. It's like, honestly, that was my favorite take on Star Trek. Not to geek, but I'm a geek, right?
It's all good, man. You're amongst brethren.
There's a lot of really good takeaways from situations like that, because you put yourself in the impossible situation, right? What could you possibly do to get out of this situation? You know, you're stranded on an alien planet, surrounded by enemies, and you just had a fight with your crew, and blah, everything's gone wrong. That's half of every season of Star Trek, you know, or whatever show you want. And the whole idea is, you don't give up. You don't quit. There's always that option. And sometimes that option is the humility to say, hey, I need help. You know? Look out for those friends, for these friends.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are this way on my screen. You know, this way, wherever you guys are. Find those people to talk to.
You guys
realize
are this way
that,
on my screen.
Oh, nice. I'll move over there. There, now you're over there.
Okay.
We match. The idea is just, I mean, there's I had a quote back when it was cool to put a quote on your iPod. Back when there were iPods instead of just your phones.
Yeah.
It was if I breathe, I live, right? And I used it for running, and I was, as everybody that runs, I have so much trouble getting from the I'm a great runner to I've taken a month of leave or hurt myself or X, Y, or Z, and now I'm not a great runner anymore. You know, it's all in the breathing. You're breathing, you're living. And if you're living, you've got to find that next step. You've got to find something to do to keep moving, to keep going.
That's right. Yeah. And I like the beginning portion of it is that when you think you've done everything, you got one more thing to do. And I remember Mama telling me as a child, before you judge somebody else's backyard, take a look at your own backyard. And when you think your backyard is right, come see me, and I'm going to tell you something else in your backyard.
Yep.
Yeah. Look. Yeah, that's good. That's nothing like some good old fashioned wisdom.
Enforced humility, you know?
Yes.
And being able to take that.
Say that again, Matt. Enforced humility.
Yeah, man.
Yep. And that's what we do, though. You know, if we're doing it right, that's what friends do. Oh, hey, yeah. I'm not just poking you to poke you to piss you off. I'm poking you because you might be doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, when you say that, it reminds me of how we always say iron sharpens iron, and you know, people say that and they don't understand how iron sharpens iron. It's like, oh yeah, you just next to each other. No, it's friction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There is a grinding process of that iron sharpening each other, right?
And
there is sparks sometimes when that process is happening.
Absolutely.
And so in that process of sharpening iron, you know, it's us not always being able to smile about what we're being told about ourselves. Yeah. Like that 360 process, right? Yeah. You know, we don't always like it, but you know, you don't grow without, you know, some type of opposition, some type of pressure, right? A seed don't grow until you put it in the ground, right?
Yep. So, buried under pressure and leave it in the dark, and it'll fight its way out.
Come on.
Hey, pressure makes diamonds.
Not that I'm suggesting we leave our soldiers in the dark and make them fight their way out.
And we definitely don't want to bury them.
No. We are opposed to that. We are definitely opposed to
most of them we don't want to bury. We don't want to bury them. Find your way out of this. This is your next, this is the hidden task.
This little mystery task is going to test your tiny heart.
Some of us might lose our jobs, man. We can't do that one. They were like, what happened to you, soldier? They forgot to tie the bell to the other end of the string.
Yeah.
I didn't ring it before my oxygen ran out, man. No. Whose idea was this? It's like I have just gone down a rabbit hole, gentlemen. I'm so sorry. But look, this one leadership, I'm not gonna say any specific numbered units or anything like that, but it is a numbered unit. They thought that it was a great idea to do the Humvee rollover drill And you know we say roll over, roll over, roll over, and then what's the other one we say? Water, water, water. They thought it was a great idea to do the actual drill for the first time with newbies in water.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, way to break you in, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Or just break you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think they were all congratulated on a job well done.
Yeah.
A nice way to put it.
Nice. Yeah.
So, segueing into when nothing's wrong, there's nothing wrong, except that there's nothing wrong.
That actually was a very good segue. Yes, because you're going to see a lot of leaders
And
who are going to say
junkie.
that's a good way to do that. That's tough and realistic training. But at the same time, you've got to have that NCO vision to say, hey, this might be wrong.
Hey,
what's up?
What's up, girl?
I heard you laughing downstairs, bro. Hey, guys.
Hey,
I was
Good to
looking
see
for
ya.
the pancakes.
pancakes. Oh no.
Look,
Love y'all.
Love you too.
We have failed.
we all failed. But she just came
There
from
are
the
no
same
pancakes.
volunteer events that I came from. So, yeah, we'll probably grab some after this. But next time,
Next time.
Leviticus. All right, man. I'm sorry, man. Hey, give it to us.
So
When
yes,
nothing's
when
wrong, there's
is
nothing wrong.
There's nothing
except
wrong except
that
that there's nothing wrong.
nothing
So
wrong.
you were just talking about that great segue in with the rollover drill. There's going to be plenty of those NCOs or even some of the junior officers that say this is tough and realistic training, which is what we are supposed to do. It's in a couple of RARs there, right?
Yep.
Joe, I think you and I were talking about that 2 days ago at dinner.
Yes.
What they need is that realism, that NCO vision to say, hey, something is wrong here, right? We might not have killed anybody yet,
Right.
but there's that possibility. It's pretty high because of the way we're doing things.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's master the actual task before we make it harder than what it.
Yes.
It's already bad when we put the real equipment in there, and it's hard to tell people not break their neck without the stuff inside of there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Let alone releasing yourself and catching yourself. Okay, prop your hand up when we say, all clear. Release your seatbelt, and people still come out of that thing, right? On top of each other. So, and then you add the element of actually being underwater, and then you add the element of I can't swim.
Which I'm surprised how many people can, but it's
That's a true statement.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
when was the
thing.
last time one of y'all participated in a drown pooping?
It's been about 15 years.
It's been about 3 months, and let me tell you, it was eye-opening. The soldiers who thought they could do that.
Yeah.
Me remembering how hard it was halfway down the pool with this weapon, going, "You can do this."
Oh Lord.
I was not an impressive example. Let me put it that way.
Mhm. It's a perishable task that should be, trained more often. Not the first time in a rollover drill. So, yeah. Listen up, leaders.
Yeah, training should be gradual, and I'm reminded of one of my NCOs back in the day told me, because I was like, man, why are you always on me? And he told me, when I am not in your behind, that's when you need to get worried. When nothing's happening,
Nothing's wrong.
that's when things are bad. And if you don't hear anything from me, then you should be worried. As long as I'm in your behind, everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, you're not chewing anybody out. Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Are you okay? Look, you said that I had a situation where I was in the office and I had some stuff on my head. I was dealing with, some other soldier stuff that I couldn't just share with, everybody. And one of my junior leaders came in. He was like, "Can I close the door?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on? Everything all right?" It was like, "Yeah, you're just quiet today, and you haven't said anything to anybody." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. I mean, I'm dealing with some stuff, but I just can't share it with you guys. So, thanks. I appreciate you noticing that, though. That's good. You're observant. So I appreciate
That's a
that.
good environment right there. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I was like, do I chop y'all up that often? He said, yeah, you usually leave a trail of tears. He said, we can tell when you hear it's like a trail of soldiers doing push-ups somewhere. It's like, oh, Lord, Jesus.
Well, did they need to? Probably.
They absolutely needed them. But you know what? It's all good. So, anyways, trust your instincts. So, hold on. Did I skip one? No, that's it. You worked hard. I think we worked hard. You trained hard. You study hard. When all else fails, trust your gut. It's ready. Your subconscious knows, sees more than you can. Absolutely, especially in the heat of battle. Trust it. This speaks volumes by itself. How many times have we trained? We in when I was at Bragg, Colonel Mann. Shout out to Colonel Mann and Miss Nancy. His mantra was, we're creating trained responses. We're creating trained responses. Because what happens is we get so used to doing certain things. And if I train you to write medics, right? Preventive med. If I train you, if we go over this and it becomes a vainless, repetitious type thing that we're doing, now it's second nature. I don't want you thinking about what you got to do when it's a mass casualty event. I don't want you thinking about it. I want you responding, right?
Yes.
I don't want you to be like, I got to take charge of the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
No. I just need you to execute at this point.
Just do it.
We've gone through this. This is why we continuously do it over and over and over again. So now that it is a trained response, and you don't think about you think about it afterwards, right? Have you guys ever had an experience like that where it's like now we're remember when Stormageddon came through and it blew up all the tents and everything was going. It wasn't like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? It was everybody. You're executing. You're like, okay, look, when this tent pulls up again, I gotta let it go. I can lose this equipment. I can't lose my soldiers. Right?
That's right.
You because you've been trained and you're doing the risk management, you're processing all these different things as the leader and as the soldiers, and you're saying, okay, I see this going very bad south. I don't need the commander to sign off on this risk assessment. I already know I can lose this piece of equipment. I can explain that versus my soldiers. Why didn't y'all let go? Well, we didn't want to lose the tent. No, keep the soldiers and let the tent go. So what y'all got on this number 4? Trust your instincts.
Well, I mean, I see that tying in real hard, honestly, with number 3.
Yeah, it does.
When there's nothing wrong, except there's nothing wrong. That's your instincts kicking in, throwing up a red flag, going, wait a minute, this isn't perfect. I know that there's something off with this one. And that's when you can say, this is an instinctual red flag. I've seen it before, I've heard about it before, or it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For me, I remember when I first got taught to throw a punch. And throwing a punch to the average person who hasn't received any training, you think it's just, I just throw my fist in the opposite direction and hope it'll land where it landed, right?
It's going to knock them out, man. That's what I see on TV.
You're going to knock them out,
It's a knockout.
It's a knockout, right? There's no reason to apply any type of technique to anything. And then you find out that there are like 7 things that you need to be thinking about at the same time.
Right.
And you're never going to get that one punch right until you train so that you don't have to think about, I'm going to throw the right jab. I need to roll it a little bit. I need to put my hip on it. These are where my feet need to be. My chin should be down. My guard should be high. And my eyes should be looking not at my target, but to respond to my opponent's response to me throwing a punch. And those are a lot of steps that goes into it, right? Along with energy management, how much force you want to put behind all that. But it takes time to get there. And I think sometimes we struggle when we're younger. Oh man, I just got to do it. And no, you need the experience in order to develop instincts. Instincts, some are natural to you, but others, I believe most come from your experience, your life experience.
That's good. That's good. So in summary, what do y'all think about Hal's four principles? They're relevant. They're outdated. They're what? How do we surmise this whole thing?
Oh, I think they are completely relevant, personally.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how do we get this? We get the application portion and help our junior soldiers and our battle buddies to kind of apply some of these principles and help grow our elements out left and right.
So I love the fact that they're called principles. Principle, when it's earned the title of principle, that means it doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go away. And what was it, number 2? To never give up and never quit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was immediately reminded of our warrior ethos, and when something is good, it comes around, and sometimes, you may have to change the seasoning profile to make it a little more palatable to the next generation, but the principles of it doesn't change, and I like how the simplistic nature of how he wrote them. There's no big fancy words in it to where the average man with limited education wouldn't understand what he's saying.
Right.
And so I don't think it's very hard to apply it if you just read the words. You just read the words. It's not hard to do, but some of those you may need the never quitting part. You're gonna need somebody to explain to you the benefits of not quitting, because it sounds good before you are in the challenge, but when you get into the challenge,
Right.
all right, us. Well, y'all former first arms. I ain't a former first arm yet.
Couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Still on the trail. Still on the trail. Hey.
Still on the trail. But when you hit that hot seat, man, you need somebody who's been there before to tell you, look at that, huh?
Yep.
There it is. Freedom.
Earned. Absolutely earned.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here, a reminder. Hey, look, you made it off the wall, buddy, man. You paid that price, man.
Paid that price, and I think that's how it's firmly rooted into you wants to challenge.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna play on that one, Joe, because you have an amazing point there. There's always something more you can do, right? Never quit, never surrender.
Yeah.
There's always options. Is the last line that he uses on that one. And you said, how to adapt. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what you said, because I listened to respond, not to hear, and I apologize. But I heard something, and then I turned off for a second to think of my response.
But yeah.
But those options are what we're looking for as leaders. It's what we look for at every level. What can I do? What's going to work? But, we were all talking about this last week, too. This is an option for all of us to be able to say, how do I adapt? How do I make myself, my knowledge, my experience available to other people in another way than what I have a tendency to do, which is stand in the hallway and talk to people. And now I'm taking your time. I'm taking your productive personal time. If it's after work, because we're always all there. But this is one more thing to add to that. This is an option. I'll be honest. I have been in a funk. And it's easy to get into. You work too much on things that are not your passion. They're your work. Yeah. Sometimes those two are tied at the hip, and sometimes they are not.
Yeah.
But just the idea of sitting here and talking with you fellas, listening to people answering questions, being available has been that spark that I needed. So one, thank you for creating that option. And two, for anybody else listening and for future me, when I listen to this again in a couple of months, keep looking for options. Don't just turn off and say, I'm done.
Yeah.
While we breathe, we live, right?
That's right. There's one more thing. Never quit. There's always one more. And as long as we're breathing, we're going to be here with our coffee, crepes, leadership, and pancakes. Look, Matt. So when you said you were like, when you threw out the name, I was like, that's good. And then you was like, you don't know about if we put with the fellas, any of those things with the guys. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I know it's a PC but somebody is gonna be like, oh, why it's got to be with the fellas? Why it's got to be with whoever? So I was like, let's lean on the breakfast or brunch theme.
Yeah.
And that's where the pancakes came in.
I like it. Pancake leadership. There you
Pancake, that's right, man. Hey, look, I had one. I think the sergeant major said that her philosophy on awards is like baking a cake, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but when she said it, I was like, okay. She said it's simple, right? You take these ingredients and you put it together, and if it come out with a cake, people will eat it. If it don't make a cake, you probably ain't gonna get anybody to eat it. So if you got this award that that you throwing together and you got some ingredients that don't it ain't standing up.
Right.
It's probably not going to become. So basically she was saying, it's not going to be one of those things where it's like we're not going to be kicking back because you didn't put a comma where you supposed to put a comma at.
Right.
If the soldier deserved the award and the substance is there, we're going to get them that award. And I was like, Sergeant Major, I appreciate that. That's amazing. And you got some people that just, they fuss at you for not getting there on time, but it got kicked back a million times because of or they didn't have an or they didn't have a preposition or whatever. It's like,
I like kicking things back with a lot of red ink.
Yeah,
I've gotten sergeant majors that they've given me back, and first sergeants, they've given me back, the question mark. Okay, great. Or like a line through something. Okay, great. No, I get it. I appreciate that. But one, this is my product, so right. And two, question mark doesn't tell me anything other than you don't know what's going on here. Work with something.
Right.
I'm not trying to write everybody's award for them, but awards, NCOERs, MFRs, things that come through me for review come back with a lot of red ink on it. Not to be a jerk, to give you options. Here's the way I see it. What if you were to do this?
Right.
And I try very hard not to do it in that declarative, you're wrong, fix this, do this, unless clearly there's something wrong with administrative data or, hey, we're past this date, right?
Come on.
But giving them those options and saying, if you were to say something like this or something along these lines, or try some of these words instead. Stronger.
It builds this. It says, in my opinion, I do the same thing, Matt. I will pull them. I will actually call them and say, "Hey, look, I'm not clear on what you're trying to say, but is this what you're saying? And if it is, this is how. If you say it like this, I believe that it'll be stronger. If you want, because I can't tell you what to write down on your award. I cannot. I can only help you. Right?
Yeah. I can only make suggestions. And if I have questions when I read it, then you had a good thought, but you didn't define it enough. Because if I'm looking at it and I know the soldier that you're talking about, and I have questions about it when I read it, then the next level of command who reviews it, they certainly gonna have questions when they read it.
Absolutely.
And
yes. Come on. And if I'm the commander's right hand,
right,
and I know the soldier you talking about. And surely they don't deserve no Legion of Merit. They deserve a handshake. Man, you better get this award on up out of here, man. Stop playing. I'm gonna need some proof of evidence.
Yes, something. Some boys you talking about Legion of Merit. I gotta send y'all something.
Oh yeah,
a supposed Legion of Merit write-up. A person did for themselves.
Really?
And, yeah. And bold move.
So they didn't read the part where you could recommend an award for anyone.
Yeah. They didn't read that part.
Someone should be recommending that award for you.
Yeah, and they skipped over the part about the whole narrative thing. It was 2 or 3 sentences in each achievement block on the 638. Legion of Merit.
Are you serious?
That's not gonna do the trick.
I am so serious.
So let me ask you guys this question, right? Let's say you're. Look who's here! It's the boss. It's boss baby. It's the grandbaby.
Say
Bring that little
hi.
fella on
Say
in.
hello, sirs.
What's up?
Oh,
Say hello, sirs.
The grandbaby.
Yeah, it's the grandbaby. His first appearance on the Papa Gift Show.
very
You want
nice.
some crepes, man? You can't have none.
Not
You
yet.
can't have
Not
none.
yet.
So, anyways,
Sorry, guys.
let me get y'all's opinion on this.
Don't be sorry about bringing a baby in, for Pete's sake. That's a great break.
Look, he sent me down a rabbit hole. I don't even know what I was about to talk about. Where was I going? You see, now they done caught me in real time. How look, this is good for my rating. I really forgot what I was talking about. I know I wanted to touch on something that y'all was talking about.
I'll give you time to think about it. So
Okay,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
pull it back to baking a cake. I like that. And I had heard it before, and I decided to start on a personal project of mine that unfortunately has been shelved for too long. And I'm going to bring it back up. Creative writing, ideas, just getting things to flow. Some of my best awards or NCOER bullets or write-ups of anything have come from just that original creative flow of he done good. She did an okay thing by not dying, right? Just silly things where you're like, just get something on the paper.
Yeah.
And then obviously, okay, well, yes, along with not dying, she also did this and took care of people and made sure they didn't die and provided this and this and this and this and this. And oh, wow, it's been 2 minutes and I have filled up award now.
Yeah.
But you get that creativity flowing. I enjoy that. I appreciate that process. So I started something, and I have absolutely nothing that I can provide as of yet. But I started something called the Leadership Cookbook. And the intent is just that, baking a cake, right? Or a pie or a muffin or whatever. But you take your leadership challenges, the things that people have trouble with. What happens when I have a soldier that's drunk on duty? What happens when I have a soldier, Joe, who sober decided to make a decision that you wouldn't have made drunk? Talking about that story we shared. What are some of the things you can add into that? Well, one, you got to get clarity, right? So clarity is absolutely an ingredient. Two, you got to find what it is that they're going to respond to, right? So what are we using here? Are we using water or are we using milk? What is it that you're going to respond to? And then you bake it all down and find the truth and the solution, right? So your truth is, as you're mixing everything all together, it comes out to find out, well, here's the actual story that I've gotten from 15 different perspectives and my history and experiences. And then you bake up what it is that you're going to do, and you hand them that pie and say, this is the pie that you are going to be eating. Yeah. Whether it be extra duty or it be I'm going to counsel you and talk to you, or you're going to counsel and talk to a whole bunch of other people to make sure that you really get it. It grinds into your brain, and this is now something you understand. Anyway, it's a project I'm working on, and that baking a cake really brought me back to it. Do you guys have any, I would say, stump the chump ideas of what could I do for this, or what should I do for this, or did I do the right thing? I'd love to hear them, and then, talk through them, maybe phone calls or whatever, and we can put together a leadership book for some soldiers.
Man, I love it. I love that idea.
I like that. It's when you said it, it kind of reminds me of you remember back in the day when we used to have to carry around the book of standards, whatever division you belong to, that kind of thing.
Dragon standards.
Still got right. Fourth ID.
And in it had so many things. I learned how to do an on-the-spot correction because of the 3-Corps book of standards.
Yep.
When I was on Fort Hood the first time. I mean, it was an explicit details of this is how you're supposed to conduct a on-the-spot correction. Mm-hmm. You identify that it's truly a deficiency.
Yeah.
You introduce yourself. Assess the situation. You can't always correct something on the spot just because you outright that person.
Yeah.
That's assessing the situation. Yeah.
It just, but I remember it in explicit detail. And sometimes I remind myself even now of when going to go do it. I'm in a restaurant, I see some soldier doing something stupid. That Let me remember the steps. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I still got it. That's the right thing to do. And then go make it not a big scene or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just give the soldier some correction and then keep it moving.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I love that, man. If we could put a little product like that together, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is good, and you said something that was that brought back what I was going to ask you guys. So, what do you think about this? A lot of times when we're writing these awards, you know, you have people, they'll kick it back, they'll say whatever, or NCORs, right? I'm gonna stick to awards. And it gets kicked back, and they be like, change this, do that, whatever. I don't. It's not the way I would normally write this for that person. And then they say, change it to this because it's not going to make it up. Why are we changing it? Isn't that what the recommender recommended? And isn't that why we have a button, a drop down that says at the next level, they can downgrade it. And they can write in there. Instead of them using that button for downgrade, I'd rather for you to say, I didn't think this high. I won't say that you didn't think this highly, but my point is, if I feel like my soldier did ARCOM type level award, but my battalion or brigade commanders don't think that, you shouldn't, in my opinion, tell the recommender, hey, your soldier didn't do that. Well, this is my opinion, and this is what I wrote up. At least when the soldiers see it, they can say, well, at least my supervisors thought that I did this level work, and they got downgraded. They can see it got downgraded, right? Yeah. Versus me saying, okay, all right, I'm going to put it here. I'm just going to mark it down to a COA because they said it wasn't worth, whatever. And now, what do y'all think about that? I've been, it's been on my head. It's bugged me because I've watched it, I've seen it, and I fought it because I'm like, no, just have them downgraded. Just have them downgraded. If that's what that recommended, and it wasn't me, but one of my soldiers recommended an award for their soldier. And I talked to them about it, and I was like, if you feel like this is what they deserve, it don't mean that that's what they're gonna get, but you write it up, and I'll tell you if I don't think it's strong enough. But that's all you have. That's all you have. But hey, I always tell my soldiers this. This is how I write my awards. I write the awards. I'll send it out to my people. Be like, hey, look, can you look this over? Make sure I don't sound like an idiot. And then I will go based on what I wrote up and how strong it sounds to me and everybody else that I send it to. Yeah. This is what I'll say I think it should be, for the most part.
Yeah. The only piece I would add to that, Tay, I remember when I got to Fort Benning, and my department HRC, his name was Sergeant First Class Freddie Polite. And as I was in processing, people, I'm at a hospital. And they can tell I'm a field soldier, so as I'm in processing, now you go stand over in that line, Sergeant. This, that. And I remember I was in the human resources, HR, so I could turn in my promotion packet from, previous duty assignments so that I could maintain promotable status. Y'all remember how that went and everything. And the guy was like, yeah, no, don't hand that straight to me, man. Just sign it and go sit down. That's what he said to me, right? And so, there's some other folks that came in and, you servicing them, and I'm just sitting there patiently waiting. And he looks over and he says, hey, what's your MOS? And I said, I'm a Sierra. He said, PM, right? I said, yeah. So you gonna work for Sergeant Polite? I said, yeah. Oh man, why didn't you say so? Come on, man, give me your stuff. Let me look at it. No, you don't have to wait for. No. I'll update your points right now. You got any new things to turn in? I got you. I'll square you up, man. And I said, whoa. And so each station that I went to after that, as I in process, I just let folks know, yeah, this is who I'm gonna work for. And that dude had a line of credit. Like, them black visas?
Yeah.
That rich folks get?
The black cards, yeah.
And I say his name, and I got instant credibility. Instant. Nobody knows me from Adam. Right. Instant credibility, right? And I told him that when he introduced me to everybody. And I said, Sergeant, I want that. I want that. I don't want to be known for my good. I want to be known that when my soldiers are walking around and they say that they work for me, they are extended every courtesy possible.
Yeah.
To tie that into awards, I want when somebody sees my name signed to an award that they don't overly critique over the dumb stuff that you're talking about, Tate. And they trust that if I'm saying that this soldier is deserving of the award, then the soldier is deserving of the award.
Right.
And I think we, especially non-commissioned officers, I think we as a corps, we fail at that sometimes because we let our egos get in the way, or we don't read or study enough, and we run from challenges. And so then when the commander sees your name associated with it, well, it may not always be because of the soldier. It may be because of the leader. It's kind of like the sponsor coming in talking about the soldier before the soldier comes into the board.
Right.
I mean, shoot, I y'all remember back in the day where you served as a sponsor. You better be prepared to answer board questions. Yeah. Your soldier might not be able to show up.
Yep.
I know your soldiers out there and they're ready, but you suck. So your soldier sucks. Not gonna waste the board's time.
Right.
See you next month.
Back in the day, man. Yeah. Look, you could mess it up for that soldier.
Mess it up for that soldier. Or make it right.
Right.
I remember at Martin Army Community Hospital, I took one of my soldiers to the board, and they borrowed a sergeant major. We didn't have a sergeant major. They borrowed one from Kelly Hill, right? And he came over with that infantry mentality. And my soldier was struggling a little bit. You know, they was asking her about mechanical zero and that kind of deal. And she was nervous. She was struggling. And I'm sitting over in my chair. I raised my hand. He said, "What you got, high speed?" "Hey, sergeant major, can I jump on that?" "Sure, man. That's you her sponsor, right? Don't she work for you?" "Yeah." And so I answered the question. And he said, "See, now that's what I'm talking about, right? This is how a board should be. If the soldier doesn't know how to answer it, and their supervisor is in the room, if the supervisor knows it, then the soldier should get credit for it because the soldier will know it because the supervisor is going to teach them."
Right.
I like that.
That's good.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you should know if you lean into that lifeline, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. If I know it, my soldier should know it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to jump in. Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
I liked absolutely, and I completely agree with what you said, Joe, about if I've signed it, it shouldn't have to be scrutinized. And you hit that key that is one of my absolute fallbacks for just about everything. Have I tied my ego to this, right? Where is my ego in this endeavor? So we have to have that expectation management of, yes, this is Legion of Merit, but you know what I mean? Do I think that soldier is high speed? Absolutely. Do I think that soldier did great things? Absolutely. Do I think that soldier did great things at the core level? Not so much. So now we're going to talk about expectation management. You know what? This might actually be an MSM, or it might just be an RCOM. But have that discussion there, and there's nothing wrong with any of the awards. You get recognized for the things that you do at the level of their impact, but we have to bear that in mind too, and we have to remind our young soldiers that the approval authority has to see impact at their level.
Right.
Yes.
So, hey, I think this guy deserves an RCOM. Okay, but they're doing squad level work that impacts only their squad. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have company impact. Now, granted, those soldiers work for the company and they do great things, and they will accomplish missions for the company, for the battalion, for the brigade. We all know that. Mm-hmm. But this stuff right here, as cool and high speed as you think it is, that's COA, right? Now go a little bit bigger, share that, make it a company-wide incentive, teach something to the other companies so that you're going outside that sphere of influence. Now you've got yourself in AAM or an RCOM, right? Yeah. But giving soldiers that expectation management so that they understand it. So when they say, I'm going to write them up for this award, not because they're mine and I want to take care of them and I want to protect my soldiers and give them the best, because we all do. Yeah. Giving them the best also means giving them reality, right?
Yeah.
Expectation management. Come on, man.
It's huge. Yeah. Making corrections, getting all those red inks back, with the idea that, hey, I would do it this way, is only going to work if people understand, right? One of the craziest things that I had happen that I absolutely hated I know you guys are going to remember who I'm talking about when I say it, but we'd have to set it up through 2 levels of Sergeant Major when we're talking about NCOERs or awards.
Yeah.
And it was the first one who reviews it says, well, change this to this because this is the way it's supposed to be. You change it, and then you send it up again. Yep, looks good. And it goes to, Battalion Sergeant Major, and it's, hey, no, change it to this because this is the way it's supposed to be. That's what I had the first time.
That's what I had. Yeah.
That's what so if you're going to make those corrections, if you're going to be that middleman for your commander, for your sergeant major, for whoever, make sure you make corrections for your boss. How am I, as a middleman, going to get this through my boss so that you or your soldiers get what you need?
Right.
Say that again, man. You got to say that. Rewind that tape. Oh my goodness. Right to your boss.
We work for our bosses, right? I mean, we do. And again, that comes down to that pride thing of I don't work for me. The soldiers don't work for me. We all work for the people above us, right? So we got to make it work right.
Right.
But and then, like I said, some of the best corrections that I have received and given have been those discussions or open for discussion. This is why I am suggesting this. Yeah. Not this is tied to something that I did years ago and it's absolutely obscure and makes no sense to you now. No, explain it. Don't be too prideful to explain why you are making a correction for somebody. Right. We're not too busy to make the explanation available because we're not too busy to do the correction, right? Mm-hmm. Take the extra step.
Hey, look, yeah. I'm gonna lean on this last point, and I want you guys to expound on them. So everything that we're talking about is so important in leadership, and one of the biggest reasons why we're doing this is so that junior soldiers, just people, not necessarily because leadership is leadership. That's why a lot of times you get out and you go into different places, you get picked up fast because your ability to lead, no matter where you're placed at. And I love that about the military and when it's done the right way, right?
Yes.
So how do we take these principles of, not folding, being able to say, okay, you know what, Sergeant, how come, I didn't get your top block? How do we teach? How do we initiate this this unfolding of knowledge and this application in our juniors? How do we execute this so that they can take it and not have that mentality of, Matt, you were saying, I want to get my soldiers awards. But yes, okay, that's good. I'm so happy you want to get your soldiers awards. However, that's their job. Now I'm not saying don't award, because sometimes you can get an award for walking and chewing bubble gum, right? At
the same time,
if you were great at doing it, if you executed that task to perfection and the right leader saw it, hey, if they're at that level of writing an award because they were impressed with your chewing bubble gum and walking, guess what? Congratulations. Kudos to you. We'll give you a round of applause, right? However, leaders, you can't just throw, because it's like in medical field, it was hard for us to get awards, right? Unless you were in a tow unit and you were on an exercise and you did something. If you were in the hospital, you literally almost had to save somebody's life to get that award. Or you had to do the boards, right?
Yeah.
And so coming from that, seeing that part of me being a board soldier and going to these boards, and that's how I got all my awards. And then having my battle buddies who could not get an award, period. But they didn't want to go to the boards. It's like, you want to help them, but at the same time, you don't want to water down the awards process.
Right.
And also, we got this generation of, I'm entitled to an award. I've been here. I had a soldier, and this is the reason I'm asking. I had a soldier who was getting out, and they came and they were like, so Sergeant, I just want to know when I'm going to get my award. And I'm just like, I didn't even know who you were for like the first 6 months. Now, it's fair. Let me make it fair. I got here when COVID hit. However, my soldier couldn't come to work at all. And it was a lot of details. There's a lot of layers to that thing, but
I'm sure it was.
You didn't work. how am I gonna give you an award? And I didn't see you. I didn't even know who you were. When I finally met this person, it was Hail and Farewell.
Wow.
And I'm like, and how are you? Who are you with? They're like, oh, Sergeant, I'm Specialist so and so. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is how I meet my soldier. I don't know who you are. I thought it was somebody's spouse. So how do we, initiate that, and how do we train that so that we can say, good, you want to take care of your soldiers, but let's not water down this award process. Let's not water down. Let's not overly pat them on their back for, oh great, you were breathing today.
Yeah.
You put on your uniform and came to work. Oh my God, let's write them an award. How do we get past that? You want to go first?
I'll go first. Okay. All right. The way I teach it is the 3 C's of leadership: competence, character, composure. And how you're measured in those things is how I will train you for you to possibly receive something. But the biggest is probably my number one is, doesn't matter about your rank. Best advice I've ever received from a commander way back in the day. He told me 2 things. He said, if I take care of my soldiers with the same level of compassion that I would take care of my kids, I'll never go wrong. And if I take care of everybody that falls into my left, somebody will take care of me that falls into my right. And so what does that mean? If I want my soldiers to get awards, first I need to be leading the charge in the types of things that need to be done, and then I need to have some creativity, some creative thought of putting them into the right scenarios to where they can be challenged in a way to where they are being awarded. But also letting them know that everybody doesn't get a trophy. Okay, if you want a trophy, then you got to do something for a trophy. Right. Okay, we don't give participation trophies out here. What we do is called a certificate of appreciation, not even of achievement. That's a participation trophy. Okay,
it's called a good conduct medal.
Good conduct medal, right? You served honorably for 3 years. You stayed out of trouble. That's good. That's good. Here it is.
You're supposed to do that, but because you did it,
and so many don't do it, here you go.
We're going to go ahead and give you these points. We're going to give you this. We're going to put this little thing on there.
Yeah.
Keep at it.
And so, in my company now, as I review promotion point worksheets and SRBs, I tell soldiers, if you want opportunities for the things that you can't control to get point, you have to be a master of the things that you do control. And that will make somebody do what needs to be done for you. But if you come in here, because I got soldiers that got less than 300 promotion points and talking about nobody wants to take care of me. You're not taking care of you. What are you talking about? You have 230 promotion points on an 800-point scale? Are you kidding me?
And how long they been in?
I've been in 5, 6, 7 years.
Oh, look.
Okay.
Look, I think we talked about this before, but I don't know, man. It's just a different era, because when I came in, Camp Air John, yeah.
Got 6 more months where I'm headed. Sorry.
Oh, man. You got to soak up some AC.
Got that right.
Cool. At least in the evening time, it'll cool off.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just Jesus. Anyway, go ahead, Matt. Hit that question for me.
Well, I think first of all, one of the problems that we had, COVID. There have been a lot of ways that this has been handled, and unfortunately, almost every organization experienced certain levels of excitement at not having to do anything. Yeah. We pushed ourselves so hard for so long that when they said, hey, you can work from home, we all went, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Right? And some of us took that as a recharge and then went, okay, yeah, no, I'm good. Let's get back into it. How do we do this? And too many others just went, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So being that leader who can and does create opportunities for your soldiers.
Yes.
And if they fail, okay, create opportunities for them to succeed. If they fail, then we work with that. How are you now going to learn from this and succeed, right? So without those opportunities, we're not going to get to the point where, honestly, anybody gets awards that are worthwhile.
That's right.
But with those opportunities, you will see that wide variety, that wide range of you have done well and you have done excellent. And everybody else is going to see the in-between of you get a thank you very much, and maybe we call out your name and formation and say you did a good job. But this one over here, we're going to call you out. Battalion commander's going to come up and give you an award and pat on the back and say, you did great. You've set the standard. But on that point, too, I think we need to get everybody, or as much of everybody in our organization as possible, on the same page with what that standard is. And if we don't get back to awards boards, I think we're missing something.
Yeah.
If we don't sit in a room with criteria already there, here are some benchmarks that have to be met for us to recognize this is company level, this is battalion level, this is brigade level. Are we going to push this forward? And we have peers, we have platoon sergeants sitting there, we have first sergeants sitting there, with or without command teams, as a whole. But we go through that and we say, here's how this is going to be forwarded or not, and here's why. Then we're not going to bring worth back to the awards, and we're going to continue to have soldiers that rage and say, well, I deserve, and leaders that say, well, my soldiers deserve, and then plenty of soldiers that just kind of go, I've been in 10 years and I've still got 3 right here. What's wrong?
Yeah. And something else, Matt, just listening to you talk about that, what leaders' responsibilities in that, it reminds me that leaders have to be transparent as well. Because I don't do it for everybody, only soldiers that are deserving of it. But when they're really questioning and they have that potential, what is it? My staff sergeant above. First of all, what does it take to get an MSM? Well, let me show you some examples of MSMs that I've received that have been approved.
Right.
And then when they look at it and they read the book, they say, oh wow. Some are like, well, I ain't nowhere near that. Yeah. Now I know I haven't been cheated. I ain't done nothing like that. Mm-hmm. So now I know what path to be on in order to get it. And decide today, do you want to do the hard stuff or do you want to just stay in the middle of the road? If you stay in the middle of the road, you're going to get middle of the road awards.
That's right. Get this handshake. Come on. We appreciate your time and your service. You came to work on time in the right uniform. Thank you so much.
That's right. Thank you.
Attitude was okay.
Mr. Miyagi said to Daniel's son, he said, yeah, I guess. No, Danielson. If you guess, you get squashed.
Yeah.
Just like Greg.
Yep. Just like the Greg. And look, we had a white elephant Christmas thing, and one of the gifts was a mug, and it had the most okayest employee.
Wow.
The most okayest. Cool. You're like you're not the best. You ain't the greatest. You the okayest. Yeah.
Okayest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they gonna get. They ain't gonna get no award. They gonna get that mug, the okayest employee.
Yeah.
You all right? You crack a good joke every now and then.
Yeah.
That's about it. So
I like my truth with my coffee. My favorite one that I have at work is coffee makes me poop.
It does.
There it is.
It really does.
About that. Read the mug.
Read the mug. It really does. And I was just thinking about something else. Because Tay, you had talked about why can't I get your top block? And that the mentality that goes to that kind of stuff. They told me as a little young country boy, cream rises to the top. That's how you make milk. That's how you make buttermilk. That's how you make cheese. All that stuff. Hey. But the only way for that cream to rise to the top is through immense friction. If it's in the butter churn, immense. For those that are listening, if you've never churned butter before, workout of your lifetime.
Get that work. Get that work.
You're gonna get that work.
That's right.
But that's the only way. And if you do it a more modern way, it goes into a pot on high heat for some time, and the cream will rise to the top, and you scoop that off, and the stuff that you don't want will fall to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as a leader, if you want to be creative, you create that intense environment.
That's right.
Designed for people to grow, not to break people, but for people to grow. And those who are truly at the top, they'll rise to the occasion. Everybody else, they'll fall in their place.
That's
So
right.
you are, if it's 16 soldiers, somebody got to hold the first position, and somebody got to be in 16th place.
Hey. But those places aren't permanent.
They're not
That's
perfect.
right. Exactly.
They're not permanent.
Exactly.
Every second of every day, you could be working to change that position. And the thing that they got to stop thinking is that just because I'm in 16th place doesn't mean that I'm trash. Because if you got a team full of superstars, you
That's
still got to
right.
rank them 1 through 16. But guess what? The way you write that thing up, I could write number 16 up and say that you've been smoking hot fire just like number 1. I just can't give you top block.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
But how do we get there? How do we get there? We've got to do it the right way.
Exactly.
So I remember, I guess it was in Germany, and it was Colonel Taylor. If you guys remember Lieutenant Colonel Taylor, now Colonel Taylor.
Yeah.
Back in my time in the 64th, wonderful year there. He had some rating criteria with how he was going to rate his officers. Why am I going to say you are number 6 of 6? You can be amazing and really great at 3 or 4 of the 6 to 10 rating criteria.
Mm-hmm.
But here's why you ended up at the bottom, because you're number 1 on these others, right? But you're number 6 on these here.
Yeah.
Different. It's like a decision group. You give certain things different weighted criteria, and you go down through. And that you're talking about transparency, Joe. We have to be transparent, so we can do that with our NCOs, even with our junior officers, and say, here during your initial counseling, during your evening event or counseling, hey, buddy, this ties into your that you're going to see when your COR closes out, or during the quarterly counselings, or even just talking to them. Hey, I see you're doing really well building the relationship with your squad, your team, your platoon, your company. And that's one of the biggest things, the most important things that we have weighted in the rating criteria. So thank you. Don't forget about X, Y, and Z.
That's right.
Right? But that, I've got a few really good matrices for that I've handed out if anybody's interested in them. And I love growing those things too. What do you guys think are important that I just think are, hey, that's something everybody should do. And then it, catches me like a right hook when someone doesn't do it.
Right. Right.
That's all
And
right.
what I love you saying about the criteria is great minds think alike. That doesn't mean that you have the same thoughts, but you have like-minded thoughts.
Right.
And so you put those things together, and then we can develop well-rounded soldiers out of that kind of stuff. One of the things I've had to teach, especially my staff sergeants and above in the company, is it's not about you running around tooting your own horn. What's the secret? The secret is taking care of people. And I'm not talking about you have some great motivational speeches for the soldiers. What did you do to improve the quality of life for a soldier?
Right.
If you can do it for one soldier, then you can do it for 2 soldiers. But if you can't do it for 1 soldier, then it doesn't matter how many soldiers I give you, you'll never be able to do it. What soldier calls you in their time of need? It's midnight. They're having some rough thoughts, and they just need to talk. Are you that type of leader? If you're not, then you're not really a leader.
Right.
You're a placeholder.
Yep.
Right? You're a placeholder. Who trusts you with the things that only a few or maybe nobody knows? Who lets you into that dark closet that nobody knows exists? And if nobody's letting you into that closet, then we don't really need you.
Yeah.
Don't really need you. There's no purpose for it. You got a title for no reason.
That's right. And it's not the rank either. It's the leader is the leader. Sometimes you could be in a non-leadership position, and you are that person of trust. You are that person that they go to. So yeah, those are some really good points, gents. All right, I'm gonna highlight what we're talking about next week. Next week, we're going to be going over 3 strategies for leading through difficult times. Get that.
Leading through difficult times.
It's an article out of the Harvard Business Review on leadership. 3 strategies for leading through difficult times. Go figure. How often has that happened?
Oh, yeah.
Might be relevant. Go with it.
I mean, who leads through difficult times?
Nah, never seen it.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that. I mean, why do we need articles on that, man? Why do we need to talk about that? Because
leadership is easy.
It's too easy.
Yeah. Oh, always. Absolutely.
Right? That's why people get put in a position and they stay there until their time is up.
Right.
Yeah, every time.
Nobody ever gets fired.
Nobody, because I mean, it's difficult times, man. Hey, I mean, if it was easy, everybody could do it, right?
Everybody could do it.
Yeah,
everybody could do it.
That's why, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all as my brothers in arms.
Yes.
Stood on the wall with me. Hey, look.
Might still in the stand at work there. So
mine has his rightful place up in the office. And matter of fact, I forgot to tell you the other night. So one of my sergeants was in the office, and he was looking, just at my coins or whatnot. And the one that you made for me with the axe on it, I put all my European coins on that one, right?
Nice.
And he's reading it, and he said, "Rashawn, man, that's a real powerful quote." The one I rather what was it? I'd rather spend. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's now it's gonna bother me. I can't remember exactly how it.
I got it.
I know Matt got it somewhere.
Yeah, he got it somewhere. Because I want folks to be able to hear it because it was
a quote by Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
And there it is. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 4 sharpening the axe.
Yes. There it is. Work of art right there. And
courtesy of Matt Johnson. And all my brothers.
Everybody that has one earned it.
Yeah. Skillful hands.
Skillful.
But that young sergeant, he looked at that and he said, "Wow, that's really, really powerful." He said, "I really like that. I want to apply that to me because, I told him where it came from and why you said you put it on there for me." And I said, "Do you get what it's saying?" He was like, "Yeah, it's how much time am I willing to invest before I begin the hard work?"
Preparation.
And when you talk about strategies of leading in difficult times, it made me think about that because his mind was blown, man. Him reading that, he already was elevated.
Yeah.
That's and awesome. that was what 8 words?
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's why it's so easy for us to have these conversations and answer these difficult questions that get thrown at us because we have prepared. We've lived through it, and then either we've been prepared for it, or afterwards we've gone, man, I got to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, so we gotta just spread the word. I'm gonna post this, put it on y'all's page. And we'll get more people because I haven't been doing my thing because of the move and everything. But we'll have more people asking questions live, and they can sit in and be that fly on the wall on the wall on the internet wall. That's a dad joke. Anyways. Gentlemen, I love you guys, man. Y'all, I appreciate y'all taking time out of y'all day. Saturdays is our coffee, crepes, leadership, and pancakes. So next week, It'll be 1 o'clock my time, 12 o'clock your time, Joseph, and 11 your time, man.
11 o'clock my time. Yeah, and 11 o'clock is the perfect time for crepes. I might just have to break them back out again.
Hey, man, break them out, man. And if you got to, be like me. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to have waffles because that's my...
There you go.
But waffle just doesn't rhyme with anything, so, hey, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to be surprised to know that I have Disney and Star Wars waffle irons. So.
Are you serious? So you got the Disney cookbook and you got the waffle iron too? Oh, man.
Of course.
Come on, man. You gotta share, man. You gotta share the crepe recipe, and then
absolutely,
just show us the Disney waffles you make.
Turn it into a cooking show.
Hey,
yeah, I know, right?
Hey, it is Coffee Crepes, and we can be cooking while we talking leadership.
That's right.
Again, we're talking next week. 3 strategies for leading through difficult times, gentlemen. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your families. Enjoy Sunday. Be blessed. And we'll get at this again next week.
All right, man. Good seeing you.
Great talking to you. It's a 4-page article, by the way. It's a short one if anybody wants to read it. So this has been great. This is exactly what I was hoping this would be, and I really appreciate you setting this up, Marty. This is amazing. We love it.
Hey, yes, sir. Love you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right, then.
Okay. Out.